Hyper Peaches! Welcome to our 29th episode. I'm Erica.
And I'm Joyce.
Joyce, this is our 29th episode. Can you believe it? I can't actually.
I cannot either. It feels like we've actually done sometimes on some days I feel like we did 50 episodes. On some days I feel like it's our 10th episode. I don't know. It's weird, but
Yeah, it's
how have
uh it's been quite a journey actually. Even though 29th compared to most podcasters, it's just like, you guys are like these like babies who just literally just like bursted out of your eggshell.
that's true, yeah. But I do think within these 29 episodes, we've definitely encountered a lot of difficulties or actually really grew from it in a matter of what 10 months, right?
Yeah.
9 months, sorry, 9 months. I
10, yeah, name it.
yeah, and I feel like we've definitely grew a lot as human beings, as speakers, as in many ways, right? We grew a lot, and I think this is a really great way to kind of self-reflect together and yeah.
Yeah. So before we even started, I'll have to ask you this, which is, our thing, right? How's your week, Joyce?
My week has been quite decent, I would say, quite calming and nothing too crazy. I would say I would give it an 8 out of
Okay.
10. Yeah.
Okay. Does that have anything to do with the fact that you might be going somewhere or, Christmas, right? It's also Christmas
Christmas.
soon.
Yeah. I don't think so yet. I think you know how like sometimes vacation doesn't hit you when you're actually there physically or when you're actually packing or going to the airport. So I don't think it just hit me just yet. But well, I just had badminton like an hour ago. So I would
Oh,
say
it's the adrenaline
it's the
speaking.
adrenaline from exercising, from a little bit of workout, definitely helps mood boosting. So especially at this really cold weather now, it's really important to actually stay active as much as you don't want to, because
That's
the
true.
aftermath is really good. It's very refreshing
That's true.
after the shower. So that's why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And hopefully this week is going to be a productive one for me and you. And
Yeah.
it'll go by smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to go into hibernation, like this weather. Like this morning, I struggle so bad to wake up.
Yeah, I'm
But
sure.
I after the workout, it's always like I felt so good for half a day, and
Mhm.
after that, I started crashing. And then,
Wow.
yeah, and especially because I had rice for lunch. Sorry, just being complete so random. But whenever you have rice, you find hey gong some. It
Yeah,
it just hits me real bad.
it works with the word.
Exactly, exactly.
So how would you rate your week?
I would say it's not bad. It's also like a 7 or 8.
Okay. Is there a reason?
Yeah, it's a, it's just a relatively chill week. Like I don't have any plans, which
Yeah.
sometimes I'm kind of relieved when I don't have plans because then I can start making spontaneous calls with my friends. Whether you want to hang out, happy hour drinks, or like just like go home and watch a new show. And
Hmm.
then I also had my annual leave yesterday. So
You
everything's been
did.
going, yes, we're going chill. And then this Friday we're going for like a hike thing for the
Oh,
company.
with your work, with your company?
Yeah, with my company.
Oh, that's
Yeah, but
nice.
apparently Friday is gonna be one of the coldest days
Yeah.
in this week. So and we're at the peak, so it's like at least two degrees Celsius lower. I'm not sure how I'm gonna deal with that, but you know,
But you like the cold, right? You're more you rather be in cold than in hot weather, right? That's kind of your preference.
not really.
Really?
I'm more of a fall-ish person,
Nothing too
so
cold,
this
nothing
is
too hot.
exactly. I like my moderation. Who
We'll give you
doesn't, right?
16 degrees.
It's all about balance.
All about balance. I agree with you. But you know, the fall weather only lasts in Hong Kong for like 12 hours. So
That's that's true. Basically, it's during my birthday, and after that, it's just like, whew, what is that weather? Is it back to summer? I mean, oh,
exactly.
we have to tell our listeners we actually did a very exciting thing last weekend. Can we share with them yet?
Yes, we should give them a little bit of update, but not too much. Do you want to
Yeah,
say it? Do I want to say
yeah, let's just say we did like a photo shoot. I mean,
it?
we are trying to up our game, just trying to be a little bit more professional in the whole podcaster game, representing our own brand.
Yeah, for sure.
um, but the reason why I thought about it is because, damn, when we're shooting it, it felt like it's like 25 degrees Celsius out there.
Mm. That
Like
was
I
what you
was
wanted to bring
wearing
out. The 25 degrees. That's true. That's true. It was really hot.
yeah, I was wearing so little clothing. And I didn't feel cold at all. I was actually sweating.
That's
So
true. That's true. And
yeah.
today it's like way too cold. I was like wearing like two jackets, and then so it's like okay, so I was wearing two jackets, and then I was staying at John, so it was like even colder. But then as soon as I left home and I was in Central, right, it started raining after my cafe session. I was
Yeah.
like this weather is so like not Hong Kong. It's very bizarre. I was like,
Yeah.
huh? Like I wasn't happy. I wasn't sad. I was just like, huh? Like it's really weird. Like how often does
I
this happen,
know. I know. I started feeling I should get like one of those like Gore-Tex material jacket. Just because this weather, like you have to be able
That's
to
true.
be like what we said just now, right? Backup for backup for backups. You have to be able to have a one, what do you call that? One size fit all solution.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the best way to solve issues, right? Make sure you have backups.
So
Um,
so many like awakening moments from your day-to-day life.
dude, seriously. And I think actually for our friends and listeners listening to this, it's really I don't know, it's very soothing and therapeutic in a way where I feel like so many ideas and moments I have in my head, I'm actually not it's very like I don't say it out loud as often, but this year I get to be as vocal as possible, which in
Mm.
a way really did allow me to be a better person or to learn more a little bit of myself. That's not, yeah. I think
Yeah, I think so. It's kind
self-reflection
of
was
like, yeah, it's kind of like writing your journal. Like
yeah,
there are so many thoughts in your head that every day you go through it, you're like, oh yeah, I did this, I did that, and oh yeah, I learned a lesson here and there. But
yeah,
unless you write it down, or like in this scenario we say it out, you don't like break things down and remember it as accurately as you thought
exactly.
you'd be. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I like after this year I of like doing podcasting, I definitely understand when I like watch YouTube videos and like you know how YouTubers are like, oh like doing these vlogs, it's actually like a great way to like self-journal. It's actually like a visual diary for me to kind of look back on, right? And think back on.
Mm,
And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
now I kind of get it. Now I kind of get it. Like it's actually quite helpful for yourself too, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah,
Um,
so brings us to our topic today, I think. It's just, well, we already said it actually. It's just, after 29 episodes, just feel like we should do a little bit of, wrap it up, a little bit of reflection. It's like one of those like year-end meetings for the big banks and like big companies.
yeah,
And so we just all gathered together, and I prepared a few questions, and you prepared a few questions, and then we ask each other, and like, ooh, what are your takeaways from this year for our hyper peaches, you think?
yeah. I think what I really wanted to share is maybe I'll go first. Is
Yeah, go ahead, go
go
ahead.
through like what were the highlights for me, right, this year in particular that I think we've both encountered or I've encountered throughout this process and throughout, Hyper Peaches. I mean, there's really a lot of like little small things. I think the first one that I really wanted to bring out and something that means a lot to me or something that I've really been enjoying doing, even though we haven't done too much, it's really the collaborations. So we've done New York, we've done France, we've done well, where was he when we were doing the recording?
He was in Singapore, I think, but
Singapore.
he's also from Malaysia. So if you count that, then it's five. Wow. And
Wow.
then Jeannie is Korean, so six.
So we've done like a global, kind of collaboration within the
And then
year.
next year, we're stepping into like BVI, Cayman Islands, Bermuda.
All the islands. And then the last one we
Yeah.
did is coming out right now. It's two girls from Australia and they're fellow podcasters. So I just really wanted to say that if it wasn't for Hyper Peaches, I would have never, even thought about doing these kind of little moments and little kind of interviews with new friends,
Yeah.
with old friends. And it's what a great opportunity to actually actively sit down and actively listen to other people's kind of voice, people's opinions, people's learnings. So that's one for me. Did you had anything that you wanted to share that was a really highlight that you think?
I mean, I just want to touch on that since you mentioned the collaborations. It's just it's honestly so much fun because you get to listen about everyone other people's stories, which I guarantee you, like even like because I think like seriously like all jobs or whatever are equal, completely equal. Like even a and I don't want to pinpoint at anyone right now, so it's so difficult. Like, I just say it all. Like a teacher, a housewife, or like even that guy who's working in like one of those like pawn shops. Like they have a story to tell, and it's all
Mm,
so interesting. I just
mm,
feel like because since we've done collaborations with people from other countries, we should also maybe next year we can do like collaborations with people more from this society. It's like
mm,
we invite them, see what they have to say about their own life story, their own path, and maybe a way for our listeners, future listeners, to be able to listen to the local voices.
mm,
And that's actually one of the reasons why we started. Another thing about it, the reason why we started is just it's so random. Like although we said that, oh, like we want to do something together, and then we always talk about deep shit anyways, but it's just for us to take that step and actually like to start the whole thing.
mm.
It's yeah, it's quite amazing. I mean, come to think about it, if it's not COVID, if we are gonna start something right now, I'm pretty damn sure it's gonna be like months of talks, and then to actually start doing it, it might be mid next year, end of next year, or even nothing at all. You
That's a
agree?
really good point. That's a really fair point. Because of
Yeah,
COVID, we had to do something, right? We almost had to be like, okay,
yeah,
like now that we're basically stuck here, right? And it's like, how do we make something out of it? How do we not feel stuck? And how do we make something that was nothing to something, right? Like, and that process was
yeah.
kind of, yeah, what you said, like sped it, like COVID sped it up, right? That's
Call
really
it our
good.
own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. Because if it wasn't for COVID, then maybe me and you would have been traveling way more. We would have been like hanging out with more friends. We would have been more socialized and more distractions. And this would have been like a year or 2 year kind of progress, right? So um
yeah,
yeah, and
honestly.
and I think another point that I wanted to highlight was
Mm-hmm.
I mean from like the beginning I knew we were really different, right? And I kind of you said it was like really random how we just started Hyper Peaches, but in the back of my head I think I had a sense where I kind of felt like we would never clash, like me and you we would never clash because
Mm.
it's kind of like we have common interests, but like our own interests are very different, and in that way it actually helps benefit hyper peaches. It helps the development of hyper peaches, right? In terms of the
Yeah.
logistic side, right? Like writing,
Yeah.
we were talking about like the writing, the social media, the planning, I don't know, like the IT, whatever. It's like the kind of non-spoken part where we know when to step up when the other person is
Yeah.
incapable of. It's the chemistry that we have is really hard to come by, and I really enjoy the process of knowing what your interests are, because then I can kind of be like, oh, okay, this is how we can do better. Like, and I see you kind of gain that interest, and I want to encourage you doing that because that's better for you, that's better for us, that's better for hyper peaches. And this is a very good way to hyper peaches is definitely one of the best things that allow us to find the interest within ourselves, I think.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember like when we started back in February, like we kind of just like tell each other, one of those like very cringe moments where like, like we said we have to start this thing together. So at least promise each other, like if there's something that if you have any kind of like opinions or anything you want to say about something, then just say it. Don't
Yeah,
don't let this like ruin our friendship.
yeah, yeah, I said that.
Yeah, so we just like said that on the outset, and I think yeah, so far we've been complimenting each other pretty well, I would say. Like we just know that, if there's something that I have to say, I would just say it, and but if I can already sense that like you do want to do it, you can't do it, you don't want to do this, or you feel like you have the more passion in doing it, and I would just like, I would take this and I would take that,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's just this is a team. This is working. I'm really
it's
glad.
yeah, this process is really about building great teamwork. Like, I don't think I've ever, like, yeah, like you call it group projects or whatever, but I feel like this is actually way more interactive than my other kind of experiences, because most of the our like school stuff was like with like groups. It's kind of like the partnership thing is only a one-time thing, right? But for
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
we're not playing the short game, we're playing the long game, and we're trying to
yeah,
be successful together in the long term, and trying to stay respectful as well, trying to, make sure we're both doing what we
yeah.
love. It's a lot of balancing, it's a lot of growing up too. And
Honestly, it's so hard to find someone that you can match with.
for sure.
And yeah, sorry,
What?
I was just I was just trying to make a point here is that and now you can justify my massively increased presence in your life. You've seen me like way too often this year. We've seen each other way too often this year.
Yeah, we minimum what, four times a week? No, no, four times a month minimum.
a week, a week, yeah, a month, a month.
Yeah, and we,
Minimum 4 times.
we're still not sick of each other. So there you go. That's chemistry. That's love.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
and
love.
that's love. And I think, well, our kind of two concepts that we want to talk about today kind of overlapped, was like, oh, what were the highlights we kind of
Mm,
mentioned, right? Um, well, I want to say one more thing. You kind of said it just now already. It was the photo shoot, because not just because it was fun. Of course it was fun. But if I want to go deeper, I to why I enjoyed it so much, it was it's like another content, or it's like another piece that we're creating that's outside of this, just outside of like the recording. And it's like another baby in a sense. And the baby's growth within the 9 months has been, the feedback has been great. The process has been great. The result has been great. And
mm,
I just feel like I can't wait, because I feel like though, like the photos that we did have so much potential to look forward
mm.
to into 2023, that it just sparks the excitement for me, because I'm like, oh, there's so much to play around with it. There's so much opportunity within this, and makes me want to do better with those,
Yeah,
with the photo shoots and with the shoot. And it's like, maybe, yeah, there's always something for everyone, right? It's like, that's my interest.
yeah,
And
yeah. I think so.
yeah,
You can totally be like the personal stylist, and then like what do we call that thing? I
What?
don't know. There's no like the person who helps with the post, right? The post is, but you can't be all those things. Like I think you are more you're more definitely more on the artistic side. Like the two of us,
Mm,
you're way more artsy than I am. I just like look at all those stuff and like okay, like well,
mm,
I what am I gonna do right now and stuff. But oh, but one thing though that I've observed from the photos that we took recently versus those that we took couple months ago, I think you can just see from the photos that we actually look a lot more confident than before.
mm. In all the photos or just the last ones?
I think in most of the photos, like first because we actually kind of know what to expect in the photo
Mm,
shoot, and second
mm,
of all, like we have actually prepped for it. This is all
mm.
for preparation, right? Like we bought all the stuff, like we thought of all the how, the poses and
Yeah.
everything, and then third is that I think we just grew more as a person to become
Mm,
more confident now.
mm.
Like, because when we did that a couple months ago, we also don't exactly know like we
What
okay
to
we took all
expect?
these photos. What are we gonna do with these photos?
Yeah.
But now we kind of have a game plan. Like I
Mm,
want to do this. Yeah, these
mm.
are yes exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what
So
you're talking about.
I mean, our listeners, I hope you know what we're talking about. It's something that you can expect next year. You'll see
Yes.
a lot of us like
A
trying
lot
to
of us
pretend.
all around you.
Yeah, you see us 12 months a year, 4 seasons a year, 365 days a year. Okay, I have said too
Every
much.
other
I'll just
week.
stop. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah.
stop it at there.
Let's just stop it there, not to give so much spoilers, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to the photos. And I wanted to touch on one thing is I think it's also because with the chemistry that we have, and I think we're definitely more comfortable on camera. We're definitely more comfortable with the photographer. Like we're less shy, I would say,
Yeah,
because we did it. It's the second time, so it's like, oh, it's this, so it's like
yeah,
just kind of had to work for it. But man, what a fun time! Like that I really enjoy myself, and I think that was something that I really wanted to achieve was to like, yeah, work hard for like a passion project, but really also not to forget about the fun moments because that is the main reason why we're doing what we're doing is to be able to
yeah,
enjoy it, right? And it's not
exactly,
about suffering. So
exactly.
um
It's nothing if you don't even enjoy, being part of it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
and
think we touch a bit a lot, like highlights, the things that we've learned.
yeah.
Um
Oh, I do have something that I want
yes.
to add because since we mentioned a photo shoot, I just want to
Yeah.
say the power of like the whole digital marketing, digital media especially,
Mm,
is something that I have really, I would say, learned or seen. I felt the importance of it this year.
mm.
I've always known it exists,
Can I ask
but
you, like, in what way? Like, how did you kind of like that? Oh, we've been needing to post this and post that, but like, what triggered you to be like, aha, like, oh, this is important. Like, how did you encounter that moment?
I think it's just like oh I know the minute when I saw the other views of like the reels, the IG reels.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
when
because
when you see those insights and those analytics, that's when it becomes real, right?
yeah, that's true. I mean,
Because these are real people.
to be very, very honest with you, when I first did the reels, I really was not feeling it. I just feel like
Mm,
some of them it's like it's so out of my comfort zone because it's not an act. Like I was not trying to like act or like to try to be cute or whatever in here.
yeah.
But yeah, and I looked at this like, okay, first off, it's quite fun because I'm doing it with you, which I think it's it's just fun. It's just like two friends messing around. And second of all, like I looked at it, it's like because we're right now we're wrapping our own brand, right? And this is how people get to know about us. And it's like you know, if it's fun, so be it. I can try to be cute. I can try to be yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, of course, it's like completely not completely against my own um principles, but that's a completely different matter. So
Mm,
anyways, yeah,
okay.
that's how I just feel like we need to really make use of um
Yeah.
the important tool of digital marketing,
Yeah.
basically.
And I think something that I also really learned was, well, I feel like I still need to learn more. It's really more about time management. Um, which is hard because a lot of aspects in my, well, not a lot, my work aspect of my life, it's not consistent in the sense of the timing is not consistent. Like I don't have a set
Mm,
kind of like 9 to 5 job,
mm,
that's per se, right?
mm,
So you could say every week is different, every day is different. And I just think that maybe next year I need to have a better system. This is for myself, kind of like to learn and to think about. It's like how do I juggle, because I have
mm.
so many interests, right? And I have so many things that I want to do better. How do I better have better time management so that I can live a more balanced life? You know what I mean? Like I don't want to
Yeah,
overwhelm myself by like overachieving, because I don't think that's just me. I don't think I can, that mentality could be quite draining. And I want to be able to
yeah,
have times where I just completely shut off, have times where I completely just grind and have that clear,
yeah,
kind of more clear moment. So that's something that I
I
really have learned and want to do better. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I feel you on that one because I think I've said it before in this podcast. It's just I've always been one that like I keep hustling. Like I would
Mm,
pretty much like just maxed out my 24 hours a day,
yeah.
but until the point where I feel like I sacrifice too much quality for quantity, which is
Mm,
not good because it's like, oh, when I talk to friends, we only get to touch on like the basics, like the service level stuff, because I really don't have time for more deeper conversations. And like even at work, yes, I checked off the task, but does that really contain substance? Like I don't
mm,
even allow room for myself to like think, to process, and like to go back and rethink.
mm,
And in that sense, then
mm.
everything is just it's just meaningless, right? I did all of the stuff, but end up everything is just like I get a bare pass. What does that even mean to me anymore?
Yeah.
So so I guess I understand what you're trying to say, but time management is one of the hardest tasks in life, basically.
Yeah.
And now we only have we ourselves to take care of. And then think about when you have a family, when you have a kid, fuck, that's gonna be like 10 times harder.
Sorry,
You juggle your role. Yeah.
jumping
Yeah.
off of tangent. Last Sunday, we went to, oh, I need to tell you about this. Quite interesting. We went to Taipo for lunch with
Mm-hmm.
our another couple friend, and it was very quiet and peaceful, not many people. And then later in the afternoon, there was like there was like 5, 6 kids with 5, 6 moms. There was like 4 boys and 1 girl, and they were like
Jeez.
there's a lot of like board games and stuff. And there's this game where it's like super loud, where you just like you can play with the opponent like football. It's like you tap and then the ball kind of like goes back and forth. Apparently that's a game. I never seen that. It's like a, you can put it on the table and you can play it. Um, but it was so loud. So it's like you press it and the ball, like inside the ball, it like goes like, so think of it as like a magic ball. Like those like,
Mm-hmm.
crystal balls.
It's like a pinball machine.
Yeah, but like a
It's
really
not like
small
a
one. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
okay.
pinball.
I started to get the idea of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you can like play ball with your opponent. Two boys,
Yeah.
2 boys, and they're like nonstop, like like back and forth. And I like gave them so many death stares. And then one of our mutual friend was like, "Is that what you want? Is that what you really want?" And then I'm like, "Not the noise, just the
Shut
cuteness."
the fuck up.
Yeah. So that got me thinking, but
Yeah,
just much more
yeah, honestly.
responsibilities.
I had these like tutorial classes, tutoring classes just, a while back, and this kid, this kid came to me. I had my lotion on.
Yeah.
He like took something from me, and he came to me, and he like touched my hand, right? Because he had to take the thing back from me, snatched it away
Okay.
from me.
Okay.
And he touched my hand, and he was like, ew, your hand stinks. And then he goes to the bathroom and he washes think my lotion is more expensive than
Yeah.
whatever the thing that you have.
First of all, this is a soap and this is like high class like hand
Exactly.
cream.
Exactly. It's like made of like this flour and like this organic material,
And you
whatever.
can't even spell it,
It
you know?
don't it doesn't stink. I'm so offended somehow because
Yeah,
I'm always I have a huge thing for like scents. Like I need
right.
people to smell you smell good, we good kind of thing.
And someone just
It's
kind of
like
like targeted you.
yeah, I always ensure myself that at least I smell. It doesn't have to be good, but I never stink.
Lesson learned, boys never really mean what they say.
Or maybe he actually meant it. I don't know.
Maybe he meant it.
Yes,
Nah, I think, he's a boy, he's a kid, it's like
yeah, no
it's like
point getting so mad.
and I think it's fine because now that I think about it, when he says that, like it's his way of like expressing. Maybe it's like a new thing that he's learned. It's like ew or something is disgusting. It's like his new realization. And then he's just like doing it to everyone or everything, So
Expressing his five senses, like the true five
you,
senses. He
towards
learned a
you.
new sense today. That is, ew, this stinks.
Yeah. And he needs to like practice it on someone and you're just so there, So like
He's a very
consider yourself
confusing,
lucky.
confusing sense. He confuses like smell, like the good smell and the bad one. Definitely.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
something.
That's one thing that you have to consider when you're trying to give birth to a kid because they might think that you stink.
And you have to think about if you're okay with that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think to just kind of wrap the gift wrapping paper and kind of put a little bow to our podcast. Is there anything
Yeah.
you wanted to share that's like something that you're really looking forward to and for Hyper Peaches in 2023?
I think well, since I'm the content
You're the head of
the head of content, self-claimed, I would just say in terms of content, because I feel like this 10 months we're just like really like tasting the water. We're trying out different topics, seeing what would appeal to our listeners more, or what would actually like interest us in general more to talk about. There are still a lot of potentials next year because like we said, we're trying to really like think of our own edge, like our own to establish our own POV on stuff. And
Mm.
one of the thing that 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 position ourselves to be different from other podcasters, maybe the fact that we're from Hong Kong and then we're really trying to bring out the local side, the local culture, incorporate that into our podcast. So next year, hopefully, we could create more quality podcasts, with more substance in it. Because also one thing I feel like our public speaking skill is still needs a lot of polishing. It's like sometimes we have a lot of thoughts in our head, but it's hard to express it sometimes, to make it understandable by people as well. And so yeah, hopefully next year would be a better year for us in terms of that aspect.
Yeah, I'm so glad that well, I think for me it's like I kind of agree to a lot of things that what you say in terms of like the content creation. Because I think I can see that you care a lot about the aspect of this kind of like department. And so kind of like because I see you care about it, I want you to take the reins, take the lead in it. And I really do think that your POV is a good way for us to differentiate ourselves, right? And to kind of start to slowly find our niche. And then I guess for me, what I wanted to kind of transition is how do we use this content that you have that we've created together, bring it in a way that's visually creative, that's visually appealing, that's on social media, right? And I think I want to be able, I look forward to take the time, to discuss with you or to kind of push myself a little bit more creatively, how I want everything to look like, how I want our listeners to see our content, in kind of like what kind of theme, right? What kind of light, what kind of mood, like color says so much. The fonts says a lot, our photos says a lot, our choice of music says a lot. It's like everything has to come into consideration in the way we're presenting this piece, right? So hopefully, I mean, I know that we're gonna like come into agreement for sure, and I look forward to have more of these like brainstorming sessions with you to
Yeah.
to better Hyper Peaches, and better ourselves.
Yeah. 100% agree.
Lastly, I just want to say, thank you. Oh, it's like I'm making like a thank you speech.
It's not farewell though. It's not farewell though, guys.
Yeah, it's
We're
just a
still
see you
continuing
later.
this. Yeah. Don't give up on us yet.
Don't give up on us. Don't miss us too much. We'll still post stories. Just want to say thank you to everyone, to our friends, to our families who've actually been, very supportive. Sometimes like I shock myself. I'm like, you're still listening at episode 24, like late at night or like early in the morning. Like I'm quite grateful for that.
Yeah, me
People who just
too.
like do it out of, their own will, it's quite
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And it's very refreshing to see people being so supportive. I'm thankful for our bonds and our mutual understanding, because I think it's actually not easy to come by, right? It's like, how do you find someone that just kind of knows? Like,
Yeah.
how that doesn't come by that often. So
Yeah. It's the
thank
connection.
you. Connection. And lastly, wishing everybody happy holidays.
Yeah, guys. By the time you listen to this, it's probably the end of the year. So Happy New Year too.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
see you guys.
wishing COVID-free 2023 for everyone in the
Yes.
world.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Back
May
to
we all
normal.
forget about this word ever.
Hopefully, we're gonna say it less in 2023. Like that's the goal,
Oh yeah, okay. Let's be
Make it
real.
less about a
Like,
thing.
let's
Yeah.
just less about a thing, definitely. I don't want to see any more headlines about COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
Basically. Thank you. Next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Um, so yeah, I think that wraps it up.
That's a wrap. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Thank you guys for listening, and we hope your day is as peachy as this episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, like and rate this podcast on Spotify and iTunes.
Comment or DM us on any of our social media platform as well. Talk to you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.